Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. It is going to be a video in which we're going to be talking about the Ballon d'Or, the most prestigious and highest regarding individual honour that there is to win in football. The nominees have come out for this year's award. We're going to be talking about the Ballon d'Or, why I personally have a problem about it, but also I'm going to be giving my prediction anyway on who I think may be the recipient of such a prestigious and highest ranked award this year. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things always and very greatly appreciated. But for now, let's get back to talking about the Ballon d'Or and especially for this year's prestigious award. Yes, on Friday, FIFA released a list of nominees that were revealed for this award as 30 names appeared on their shortlist. Among them were the usual suspects, the likes of Lionel Messi, for example, one of the major favourites to go on and win it again this year. And if he was to go on and do so, he would win it for an unbelievable 7th time. Cristiano Ronaldo, again, as you'd expect, is up there as well. He may have lacked in silverware this season, playing for his now former club in Juventus, but he did go on to be very good individually, posting some very good numbers in terms of his goal scoring ability in all competitions. Robert Lewandowski, another name to appear in the list. The Polish striker enjoyed the usual success that Bayern Munich are kind of accustomed to in the Bundesliga, of obtaining the Bundesliga title, for example, and so on and so forth. And of course, for him personally, he was a record breaker in the Bundesliga last season, going on to break the record for the most amount of goals scored in a single Bundesliga season. And if he is to go on and win the award this season, it will only be justified because last season he was one of the heavy favourites to win it last year. But organisers decided to cancel the event, cancel the award, and that was all due to the pandemic, which overall was a terrible and poor excuse when really Lewandowski probably should have gone on to win it, not just for winning the treble with Bayern Munich last year, the Champions League, the Bundesliga title, the German Cup, so on and so forth, but also for again keeping up his high consistency with his goal scoring ability. Other nominees include 5 Chelsea players. They are Cesar Azpilicueta, the ever-consistent Cesar Azpilicueta, and N'Golo Kante's in there, Jorginho, Mason Mount, and Romelu Lukaku, although Lukaku will be judged for obviously his time with Inter Milan last season, as he was a key part in Inter rising to the Serie A title and ending the dominance of Juventus. 5 Manchester City players are also in the mix. Kevin De Bruyne, Ruben Diaz, who of course played a major part in the City reclaiming the Premier League title last campaign. Riyad Mahrez is there. Phil Foden is there, as well as Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling, yes, he is somehow in the mix. I can only think that it is down to his performances for England in this year's European Championships that got him into the discussion, because in my personal opinion for City last campaign he was pretty poor. Elsewhere, Neymar's in there, so too is Liverpool's Mohamed Salah, Manchester United's Bruno Fernandes, Tottenham's Harry Kane, goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma is also there, but I think that is for the sake of just adding a goalkeeper into the discussion and into the mix. Real Madrid duo Luka Modric, who of course is a former winner of this award, and Karim Benzema, his teammate, are also in there, as is Dortmund striker Erling Haaland, wonderkid Kylian Mbappe, Italian trio Nicolo Barella, Giorgino Chiellini, Leonardo Bonucci, of course after their heroics in the European Championships, winning that tournament for Italy this summer. Simon Kjaer is also in there. Lautaro Martinez of Inter Milan is also there. Europa League winner Gerard Moreno's also a nominee. He scored 30 goals in all competitions for Villarreal last season. Pedri's in there as well. All know Pedri by now. He is the guy who has played an unbelievable, insane and crazy amount of football this past year alone. He's definitely put in the work this year to be at least put into the mix and put into the nominees at least. And finally, Luis Suarez, of course, of Atletico Madrid, who spearheaded Diego Simeone's side to a La Liga title triumph last campaign. All these men make up the Ballon d'Or nominations for this year. Now, as far as the award goes, I've always had a bit of an issue with it. Mainly because this always seems to favour the more attacking players rather than the defensive players, more of the unsung heroes kind of thing. It does rather benefit wingers, strikers, attacking midfielders, I guess, mainly as to nominations and who gets into the top ranking places or gets most of the votes. But what about the defenders, the goalkeepers, the defensive midfielders? They don't seem to get as much recognition or as much of the spotlight, shall we say, as much as the attacking players do. Don't get me wrong, those kind of positions have been nominated in the past and have done pretty well, but they're in the minority, they're in the few rather than the many, and I think it's time that this award changes a little bit to throw some light and some recognition on the spotlight that these players deserve, because it's not just all about attacking, assisting, goal scoring. You know, the likes of Manuel Neuer and Virgil van Dijk in the past, for example, have been pretty close to winning it, and arguably you can make cases that they may have should have won it in previous years, but ultimately they never have. They never have, and I think they did deserve better shouts at winning the award rather than other people, for example. The award also seems to benefit those that have gone on to win big trophies during that season, whether it be with their club or with their country. Whilst you could have played a part in your team winning a tournament and or league title, that alone shouldn't just give you an automatic nomination for this kind of individual award. After all, it is an individual award. It should be judged on your performances and how good your stats are across the entirety of the year and or season. For example, I'm not saying Jorginho hasn't improved over the course of the past year, but has his performances across the year been anything above the likes of N'Golo Kante or Sergio Busquets in previous years, or even this year? I don't think so. But yet, because he's played a part for his club and his country in helping them to win the Champions League and win the European Championships for Italy, he is now said to be a strong contender for the Ballon d'Or this year. Does that make it right? I don't necessarily think it does. I think he deserves to be in the discussion possibly, but a strong contender to actually win it? I don't think so. Like I said, I do think it's time that FIFA do look at this award and they do modify it. They have to change it, because it has to be slightly more balanced, at least in my opinion. You have to, first of all, celebrate the complete individual achievements and stats of the individual and not consider the team as a whole, or the achievements of the team as a whole, should I say. And not only that, but I think there needs to be Ballon d'Or awards for goalkeepers. There needs to be a goalkeepers one just solely for goalkeepers. There has to be one for defenders, one for midfielders, one for attackers, and maybe you can have one for even managers, because I just think it sheds more light on those positions as a whole, and obviously it may seem a bit more fairer than obviously just judging it on the process of who scores most goals, who assists most goals, and so on and so forth, rather than have the debate of two different players playing two different positions and maybe having the more defensive players slightly more overlooked. I just think it might be a bit more fairer if each position had their own award. That's just my thought though, but regardless on that, as far as this season's award goes, I can make strong cases for the likes of Romelu Lukaku, Cesar Azpilicueta, Ruben Diaz, record-breaking Robert Lewandowski, and of course Luis Suarez. Those 5 players in particular I can make strong cases for And I genuinely believe that all those names should be strong contenders. They're worthy of a very strong debate to have and a very strong discussion to have as to who may go on and win this year's award. And they should be taken more seriously than the rest of the nominees. But ultimately, I think my pick to win this year's award has to be Lionel Messi. I think that has to be my pick. I think that will actually happen as well. I think Lionel Messi will win the Ballon d'Or for an unbelievable 7th time. And my reasoning is this: he's practically carried Barcelona this season. He carried them to, of course, a Copa del Rey triumph. He's also been posting some great numbers, despite obviously the team overall being a lot weaker than what we've become accustomed to seeing with Barcelona in previous years gone by. He scored 38 goals and assisted 14 times in 47 Barcelona appearances in all competitions this season. He has simply been fantastic for the past campaign. It was great for Barcelona. He carried them to the Copa del Rey triumph, like I mentioned. And then not only that, but then he went onto the international stage with Argentina and he carried them as well to the Copa America triumph there. Something that, of course, has eluded Messi throughout his entire career has been a trophy on the international stage. And this year he can proudly and finally say that that is something that's been ticked off his personal bucket list, I guess you'd say. He finally got a trophy with his country that has been eluding him his whole career, the Copa America. It was an amazing moment for him in what, of course, has been a tough year for him. So for me, Messi wins this season's award. But that's not to say that there isn't a need for a discussion to be made here. Of course there is, like I say, the players that I've mentioned, and maybe you can throw one or two others as well that I haven't mentioned into the mix. But definitely the more defensive-minded players deserve to be within the discussion more. But for me, there's only one winner, and that has to be Lionel Messi. But of course, as I always say, these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of the Ballon d'Or award as a whole? Do you think that we need to change it? Do you think that we need to look at things differently about it? Who do you see winning it this year? Who do you think is a strong contender? Who do you actually think will win it? Could it be a dark horse in the nominees? I'd love to know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it, on this particular subject down below in the comment section, because I'm sure it'll all make for interesting reading. Otherwise, hit that like button on the way if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch, this has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see and speak to you all again soon in another video.